I'm Adam Collins. This is a Crick Buzz centre stage from the Hampshire Bowl, where tomorrow India begin their World Cup 2019 campaign against South Africa. It's a game that South Africa need to... Hello. Well, look who I found here. Look who we got in the United Kingdom. It's Harsha Bhogle.
Just a cold Indian. It was so hot in Mumbai. Look where I've come.
That looked a lot better in rehearsals, I assure you. But Harsha Bhogle is here in the UK, straight down to Southampton, India tomorrow. It's been a long time coming. It'll be South Africa's third game. They've lost both of them in London. They're down south now. India, head full of confidence, aren't they? They believe they can win this competition.
When you said lost both of them, I thought you meant they've lost Ngidi and they've lost Steyn. Because I think that's such a huge part of this. I've always grown up. I mean, I've been seeing South African cricket since '92, and there's been an assembly line of fast bowlers. People who just came, hit the deck. They also batted. They had batting down to 10. And I'm suddenly looking at the South African side and I'd say, who's going to bowl quick? Is Rabada going to bowl 25 overs?
A huge blow, Dale Steyn being ruled out of the tournament. It's unlikely he would have played tomorrow in any case, but a second injury on top of the tendon injury which he brought out here. The doctor spoke to us at the press conference today and said that they thought he'd be okay, but that we saw in the IPL how well he bowled there, albeit briefly, and that's where he did the first injury, and now in training he's out of the comp.
It is. I mean, you can look back, as Faf did at the press conference, didn't he, and say, what if he hadn't been at the World Cup? He might have picked up this injury anywhere, really. You can't worry too much about where the injury came from. The fact is that this is a 15 players tournament, and so replacements are so hard to get by. And so India are going to start thinking, hang on, all the worries are in the South African camp, but they can't go into a game thinking the worries are in their camp, not in ours.
Might it play in South Africa's favour that they are playing in? It's not sudden death for them tomorrow. Let's be clear about this. As Faf du Plessis made it clear, you could get through with 5 or 6 wins, but if they go 0-3 psychologically, they're in a lot of strife.
And I noticed Faf has been saying all the time, I don't know if it's a response to the same questions he's been asked, but he sounds a little defensive, saying, no, we've got to be up all the time. I think when the World Cup comes, the narrative that accompanies South Africa always is this the moment? And is this the moment? And if I was Faf, I'd be irritated by that, to be honest. But sometimes when there's adversity and you think everything is going against you, that's when people suddenly get together and rise. So I wouldn't be surprised if South Africa come out really full of resolve and firing. There's some strong personalities in that side still, so India will have to be wary. India start favourites, but India will have to be wary.
He's also lost Lungi Ngidi, who bowled 4 overs and hurt his left hamstring against Bangladesh on Sunday at the Oval. Ngidi will be out from 7 to 10 days, which means that South Africa will rely on all-rounders, and it's not too dissimilar to India. A lot of options there. There might only be the case that 2 quicks are required. If the pitch isn't green and they're not expecting seaming conditions, there could be 3 spinners and a couple of all-rounders.
I'll tell you what, if it's as fickle as this English weather, it was cold when I came running in, it was raining. Look at it now, it's nice and bright. But that's the way it is, yeah. In India really have to figure out if they want to go in with the extra wrist spinner or play 3 seamers. But India have a choice. South Africa don't have a choice. You said they've got to go in with their all-rounders. So Pretorius is not very quick. Morris is not the player that he was. He just seems to have slipped a little bit. But if they do play Pretorius and Morris, then they're batting all the way down to 9. With Rabada, who can bat, coming in at 10. So if they say, right, let's let India bat first, and we're using the depth of our batting, let's try and chase it down, that could be a possibility. Also remember, India have been around for a while. They haven't played for a week now since that last warm-up game.
It's been a long time sitting on the bench watching everyone else play. So in some respects they're at a little bit of a disadvantage, although Kohli at his press conference thought they were at an advantage having seen everyone play in the competition. You mentioned Kagiso Rabada. He had some stern words to say about Virat Kohli and the way that he saw him at the IPL, said that he was immature when it came to criticism on the field. Kohli didn't want to respond to that. He said they'll have a conversation man to man if they need to sort something out. But it was instructive that Rabada, who doesn't back down from a contest, was willing to say that sort of thing before such a huge game.
Yeah, well, it's nothing Virat Kohli hasn't heard before. When you grow up in India, you hear all kinds of things. If you grow up in West Delhi, you've heard everything that you need to hear as a child growing up. So I don't think he'd be worried too much about that. I think what will occupy Virat Kohli's mind the most is getting that opening start, because Rohit Sharma, Shikhar Dhawan is such a big part of the game. If they can counter Rabada, if they can play Rabada's first 5 overs without conceding a wicket, that's a big psychological plus. So he'll want Rohit Sharma and Shikhar Dhawan to get off to a good start. I don't think India would mind too much batting first. If they can bat first, make a good 300 plus score and put South Africa under pressure.
There's something in common from Kohli in 2011 and Kohli in 2015. He made 100 in the first game of the campaign. He was asked about that. He deflected. He didn't want to get too deep into details of whether he'll perform again tomorrow. But in classic eloquent Kohli style, he's very relaxed. I mean, Kohli sometimes can talk to us in the media and be a bit grumpy, a bit frustrated today. he's relaxed. He's in the right kind of headspace, I think, to have a decent World Cup.
Kohli 2.0. I think nowadays Kohli's at press conferences he's more relaxed. I saw it in the IPL that Dhoni was more relaxed, and I hope this relaxed frame of mind can take them through the World Cup. Because look, they've got four big games right at the start.
Yeah.
There's South Africa, there's Australia, there's New Zealand, and there's Pakistan. So if they can win 3 out of those 4, they'll be saying, if we win 3 out of those 4, we're through. So this will be a big game. India started well against South Africa in the past, so if they can start well, it's a good start to the World Cup.
We've seen a lot of short bowling early in this tournament, Harsha, before you arrived over here. I know you've been covering the games back home, but short pitch bowling might be an incentive to play a third seamer, but they might also see Hardik Pandya is able to balance the side out and play 2 quicks. How would you frame it up?
I think if it was in South Africa, they would have considered playing Bhuvneshwar seriously.
Yeah.
But given that it is South Africa, given that Kuldeep took 17 wickets in 6 games against South Africa when they were playing there, that they don't exactly play wrist spin very well, I think it'll be very tempting to go in with 2 wrist spinners and use Hardik as the third seamer.
Harsha, either way, it's going to be a huge day here at Southampton tomorrow. Provided the rain stays away, it is quite wet at the moment. It'll no doubt be a capacity crowd. It'll be loud, it'll be fantastic. And what's more, it's just great to have you back in the country.
Thank you very much, and don't drop that mic. It's expensive.
This is Cricket Buzz Centre Stage. Adam Collins and Harsha Bogle. We'll talk to you after the match.